David Malachar here with LCI. I have with me today, all the way from Burien. He made a special trip up to Seattle to speak with us. This is Charles Schaefer.
Hi, thank you.
He's running for City Council in Burien for here in Washington State for 2017. We're going to talk a little bit today about his campaign, some of his ideas and thoughts that he's going to be using as a councilman, and his activities already in the community as a citizen. Charles, let's go ahead and start on that point. Let's talk about what volunteering that you're doing right now and in the issues that you're seeing as a citizen that you're addressing and want to be able to fix as councilman.
Right, so I volunteer every Friday at Transform Burien, which is a great local ministry we have in our community. It's about 12 different churches that partner together to run a food bank, run a clothing bank, serve hot meals, all stuff to help the homeless and low income in our community. And I'm really excited to be involved with that.
So Charles, as a citizen, you're already active, you're already seeing what's going on, you're already involved, you're making changes happen. What type of legislation do you believe is holding the community back to be able to effectively attack these issues, such as the homelessness epidemic? What do you think, like anything like zoning laws or things of that nature? What would you like to speak on?
On homelessness, I would do two issues I would look at, and zoning is one of them. I think obviously if we decrease some of the zoning regulations, we can increase the supply of housing. I would also look at property tax. We have a lot of affordable housing in Burien, and so we've got low-income renters that get property tax increase passed on to them. And from volunteering at Transform Burien, I know not everyone we serve is homeless. Some of them are low income and they're near homeless. And I would rather keep people in their homes to begin with than having them get on the street and then having to put them back.
Right. Now, as a councilman, what other issues do you want to tackle on? If there's anything that's in the community, such as the public service, or if it's something as like legislative, what are you thinking of? Law enforcement, anything of that nature?
Yeah, well, crime is, I think, the biggest issue of concern to our community. We have a lot of gang violence, and that's not unique to Burien. It's all of kind of South King County area. But I think we need more police, and I think we need the gang unit back. But I'm a fiscally conservative candidate, so I don't want to raise taxes. What I would do is actually, I would look at voluntarily funding it. I think there's support in the community for that. They were willing to support the tax levy, but that got thrown out for a technicality. So if they're willing to support the tax, why wouldn't they be willing to do it voluntarily? And I think also if we demonstrate that this works, then we could use that as a model to maybe see what else in our community we could voluntarily support.
That would be great, because it's better to have the community in control of what's happening versus having it lost in the land of bureaucracy or paperwork, so to speak. Is there any other organizations or things that you've seen that have been able to tackle things better from a private solution versus a public solution? Because I know that we had talked about previously in other conversations that privatizing a community awareness or a community action group to assist with law enforcement. Was there anything else that you had touched on? I think that we had talked about previously.
Well, with the homeless, not only does Transform Burien get most of their support through private donations, but also Mary's Place is a shelter up in unincorporated King County, kind of north of Burien, White Center area. And they get a lot of corporate donations, so that's something I would look at. To address some of the issues that are happening in our community. I think the larger businesses, as they move into Burien, they want to be responsible neighbors, they want to help out with this.
And transparency. You want that there to be an open dialogue and discussion between the city council and the citizens.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me, because I admit I don't have all the answers. I have some of the answers, but I would like to hear from everyone in our community. Even people I may disagree with, I'd like to at least hear from them, hear what their concerns are, any suggestions they have. And so I think we need to look at the structure of the council process. I think we need to look at, when the council meets, it meets on a Monday night. Some people have to work or they can't find childcare. I think we need to look at providing ways for citizens to be able to interact with the council. One thing that I went and spoke as a citizen about was the public letters that got put back in the council packets. I was really in support of that because I think that's one avenue that citizens can use to communicate.
So speaking on the council members and how you're going to be interacting with them. Let's touch a little bit on that. Like, what are your ideas as far as like communicating with the other council members and achieving the goals, such as being able to help with the community action, with the law enforcement, or with the homeless outreach?
So I've already met with most of the council members as well as several current candidates, and I've been meeting with them one-on-one. I've talked a lot. We found issues we agree on. We found policies that we both agree on that we would implement, and I think that's key. I think just having some of those conversations on the side, you know, not in a council meeting, because when you get to a council meeting, there's a lot of process and parliamentary rules, and it can tend to be a confrontational atmosphere. So, and I'm not trying to be that kind of council member. You know, like I said, I'll work with people even if I disagree with them. That's whether they're a citizen or that's whether they're on the council. So I think that's another thing where we can look at the process and we can make it so one or two council members can't hold something up if we've got consensus on it.
That's very important, and that's a great strategy to be able to work with everybody. So if the community wanted to get together, if they wanted to support your campaign, what information can you provide for the folks that are watching as far as information they can read more about you, where they could sign up to donate for your campaign if they wanted to, or volunteer their time?
Yeah, you can go to my website, votecharles.com. Everything's on there. You can donate, volunteer. There's a link to my Facebook. It's all up there. Anything you want to know about me, you can find.
Excellent. Charles, any other last words of information you would like to say for the viewers that are watching, if it's anything that has to do with your run that we haven't discussed yet?
Just another thing, to your last point, that viewers can do if they want to find out more about me. I've been to the council meetings. I've been there for several years testifying on issues. So they can just go look through that, see what I've already said to the council. That'll give you a good idea of where I stand on a lot of things. And I promise, if elected, I will keep showing up at the meetings in person, because that's the best way to engage, is face-to-face.
Thank you so much, Charles, for coming on LCI today.
Thank you for having me.
This is Charles Schaefer, running for City Council in Burien 2017 here in Washington State. David Malachar signing out.